Okay, thank you so much, Hera, for it's a second day for the workshop, and I'm really glad that you people have joined the meeting on time. Let's begin the day two. So let me just share my screen. I hope now the screen is shared. You people can see my screen now. The presentation is visible to you all.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, so I would be going for a review from the very first beginning. We have so far covered brief content about MATLAB. So today we are covering with lecture 3. Though yesterday I recalled how one can make functions, right? So today we are starting with the functions so that we can review the day one, as well as we can go and discuss the day two also. No? So today we are going to start with our day two with the topic that is functions, user-defined functions, how we can make user-defined functions. So the slides are already been shared with the participants. So without further delay, I just go to my MATLAB and write the code for the function. I mentioned yesterday some of the things for function. That function is something that cannot be run. It is always recalled while you design any algorithm. So you make a user defined function that can help you out in avoiding the lines that you write again and again. So function is something that help you in designing the code. So whatever you write a keyword for that, that is function. And now I'm just taking a function that is, let's suppose I'm writing a function gulam, and I'm giving this bracket. It means that if you have somehow expertise in C language, you have heard that we used to write void main void, right? Something like that. What it means, this line number two means that no any of the argument is not coming in between the brackets like this way. No any argument or no any kind of integer or float is processed. Neither no any kind of integer or float or any sort of variable is going back to any function. So this is what we mean by void main void. But over here we just mention the functions like this way: function gulam and this thing. It means that it will just process the things in a normal way. So I am writing a function which is named as gulam. What it will do, it will clear all the screen, and it will clear all the variables, and after that it will just call a figure. That's it. So if you just can see in the what we say lecture number 3, we have a small function which is DSP. So I have just named it as gulam, and over there it's mandatory that you must end a function. So apart from that, I mentioned that whatever the function you are going to design, you have to save it with the same name. So the location is desktop. I'm saving the name with the gulam, and now I'm just saving it. I have saved this function. My location in MATLAB must be the same one, desktop. If I just change my location, let's suppose I'm changing my location to local disk E, and if I'm going to take a variable a equals to 1, and now if I just call gulam, it will not run. It will give an error. Why? Because the gulam function is unidentified, undefined function. It access the all functions within one what we say folder. And at this moment I have mentioned the location that is E. So rather than mentioning location E, I'll just go and change the location that is desktop where my function is there. That is gulam. So if you can see, this is the function. Whatever the file having this symbol fx means it's a function. So it can be used in designing the code, but you cannot run it like any code you are going to run. So it's a different file. It has different significance rather than the other or extra other files which are merely the M file or Simulink file. So now if I just write gulam, and press it, it will clear the screen and it will show a blank figure, which is figure 1. So now I hope that you understood the concept of the function, that what it means. Okay. So now if I'm going to design a function which has some sort of arguments, how I'll design that function. So if you can just see the slide, I have another function which is basically taking some generating some random numbers. So if I just copy this thing and place in my MATLAB editor, and what is going on in this particular function, generate a random series, though we have a command already available that is random. But now I'm making up my own random bits number, a random bits function which is named as random bits. So now what it will do, it will just generate some random numbers, and it has two arguments, but one is m, another is n. So it will take two arguments and it will just generate some, some random series, and that series or that array is basically going to store in another variable. In the previous function, you can see that there in Gulam, there is no any kind of arguments, there is no any kind of variable that I'm going to take or I'm going to save, but over here I'm taking some arguments. So if I just save this function, random bits, I'll be saving the name, the same name that I have given to function. So I'm saving it on desktop. Okay, I already saved it because yesterday night I was practicing the same course, so it's already saved. Now I'm just recalling this thing. So if I just put any variable, let's suppose I'm writing WIE equals to random bits, and now I'm giving two arguments. Let's suppose I'm giving arguments 1, 9. So let's see what it will do. Okay, the function name must be same. So I've committed a mistake. I write random bit, but the function original name is random bits that I just designed. So random bits 1, 9. If I just enter, you can see that it has generated somehow numbers from 1 to 9, 1 to 9. This is 1 to 8 numbers, and the ninth one is over here. It has generated an array of random numbers from 1 to 9. So this is the function that we used to make in our daily routine work while you are using the MATLAB software for your specific research or specific assignment or something like that. So now, after discussing these functions, what I believe is now one should be quite efficient in making or designing these functions or turning these functions into exe file. So for exe file, I just mentioned you that you have to write mcc dash m, and then you have to write the function name. Let's suppose I'm writing gulam.m. You must know this thing, that this particular file gulam.m must be in this specific location. Otherwise it will not detect this file and it will not turn it into an exe file. So if I just write and enter it, it will take some time, and then it will just initiate the what we say exe file in the same location. So after just going for a few seconds, it will just make this thing. And in the meanwhile, I just want to focus on because today the topic is basically main objective of day 2 is to go a bit advanced, and how we design the GUI, how we implement the equations or something like that we are going to discuss today. So before starting the GUI, I just want to mention something, that without going to directly GUI, we can also initiate some dialog boxes or something like very simple, in a very simple manner. There are two types of graphical user interface. One is that you make a very what we say in a very beautiful manner. People have everything on their GUI. The second GUI is very customized and very simple. You just mention the things that are strongly depending, and without those necessary things, your application cannot be executed. So you can just put a code which is very simple to generate the desired things. So rather going to GUI directly, if your work is very less, and you say that okay, I can do it in a very precise manner, so you can just generate the dialog boxes also. So if you just see this code, this is the dialog box code. If I just maximize it, you can see this is the dialog box. K equals to menu. Menu is a keyword that generates that what type of buttons you need, what type of options you want in your menu. So in menu, I just want first is the title. I said that okay, the title should be choose a color. After that, how many buttons you want? So I want one button that is labeled as red. I want a button that is labeled as blue. I want a button that is named as green. And after that, if I particular click on any button, what it will show? It can show me a picture, it can show me any graph, it can show me anything. Let's suppose if you people are from electrical and electronic engineering stream, you can go for a menu which will have a title like diode curve. Everyone know about diode, right? So you said that okay, study of diode. Instead of choose a color, you write study of diode. And then you said okay, I'll just have a practical model, I have complete model, and I have real model. So whenever you click on ideal model, the particular graph will come in front of you, the VI characteristic curve that will come in front of you. So you can design this particular thing in terms of in a very simple manner. Maybe 5 to 6 lines are enough for showing the students or showing the class that okay, these are the three things that we can study in our course. So something like that can be implemented just by using the dialog boxes. So if I just copy this code for you, I hope that the participants also practicing the same codes on their laptops also. And it's a bit taking time. And meanwhile, I request to all the class that if they perform this particular code of dialog box, can anyone just share the screen and tell me that what type of output they have? Anyone? Anyone has operated this particular code, executed this code of dialog box? Okay, the people who joined recently, I just want to tell you that I have started the slide number 24, which is basically regarding the functions. I executed one function that is DSP. It will just show the figure. And after that, I just executed a function which will take some arguments and generate a random series. And regarding the functions, I mentioned two important things, that once you will save the function, you have to save it with the same name and the location within the MATLAB, like this one, this location. This location would be the same where your function has been, you have saved it already. The location of that thing and the location of this particular search bar must be same. If this is not same, it will give you error, which is the error like it will show you undefined function or variable. So you must be taking care of this thing. So now you can see we have gulam.exe. So it's an exe file. If you can see the code that I just mentioned, this is the gulam. It will clear all the screen and it will generate a figure. So the same function will be performed by this exe file. If I just minimize all the things, and if I just go to this particular file, and if I double click it, you can see that it's now open, and somehow it will generate a figure. So let's have a wait for a while so that we may see the figure. Okay, so figure is in front of you. This is the empty figure. I can generate any graph, I can generate anything. So this is how we can make the exe file. This exe file you can cut and give it to anyone via USB, or you can email it, and the next person that is going to receive this file, he or she will will have no any kind of requirement to install this MATLAB software completely, and he or she can just simply click on this file and it will be working properly now. So now I just want to share one more thing, that is the dialog box. I have implemented this code. So let me just run it for you. If you see, this is the code, how it works basically. This is the menu, this is the keyword. It chooses the three buttons and the title of that menu. You can just change it, like you can change, let's suppose the first I'll run this code and then I'll amend it now, so that you may have a better idea. So if I just run it, control A, and you have to press F9. So you can see over here, this is the menu that is basically in front of you. uh, Move. So if I just move it, okay, so this is the particular for the menu bar. If I just click on red, you can see what I will have in command window. If you can see, I'm pressing the red, so it will show me the k equals to 1 and red. Similarly, if I just again run it, you can see if I just press blue, it will show me k equals to 2 and blue. Similarly, if I just again, go for a third attempt and press green, it will show me 3 and green. So now what I'm going to say you is, just amend this code in terms of, something that is electronic. Suppose you say that study of diode, like this way, and then you opt for three things: practical model, ideal model, and then complete model, like this way. And then instead of displaying red, you just you know present a picture. So for presenting a picture, I'm taking a one variable x1 equals to, for reading any image, I will write so now I'll mention the location of a specific picture. Let's suppose if I'm going to click practical, then the practical model picture will come in front of me. So for that, what I will do, I'll just Google for practical model of diode, and I'll grab a picture for practical model. Let's suppose this is a practical model. I'll just save this image to desktop. I'll save it with a very small name, so that I may have, I'll save that PM practical model, right? And let's suppose I'm grabbing up. Okay, so this is the practical model, and now I'm doing what? I'll just go, and this is the picture. So what I will do, I'll just right click on it. I'll go in properties. I'll just copy the location. What is the exact location? And the name is PM. The extension or the file type is PNG. So what I will do, I'll just mention the location over here in this way. After that, this slash, the name is pm.png, right? So this is how it will read the image. And do put this semicolon, because if you are not putting the semicolon, it will read the entire intensity levels of the image, which will consume some time. So after placing this semicolon, I will go and I'll just write im show x1. So over here I have used two types of commands. One is im read, it is for reading an image, and for reading an image you must require some location and the file name and the particular extension or the type of the image. We have JPEG, we have TIFF, we have PNG. So at the moment I'm just recalling the PNG. After that I have written im show. So if I just run this particular thing, if I just write practical, it will show me the picture that is basically the picture of diode model. So at the moment it's busy. It will take some time, and it will show you the practical model of this thing. So you can see this picture. Why it's black? Because I have taken an image that is PNG. If you are taking an image of JPEG, it will show you the correct form. So what I will do now, I'll just edit this image, edit. I'll save it, save as, with the name MP now, and with an extension of JPEG, and we'll save it. So now you have another image.
We're really sorry for the disruptions. He'll be back in a while.
Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. Actually, I'm just facing some issues with my laptop. So I don't know why it's basically suddenly turned off in between, the work. So sorry for the inconvenience, huh? Over here we have this particular image that is PM. So it was previously showing the black, overlook. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit this image into a JPEG image. So it will, give a proper display at that moment when I'll call it in MATLAB. So in meanwhile, just it's taking some time. If you have questions regarding the day one, you can ask at this moment. Any sort of question that you have previously from day one, you can call it, you can ask that question. Other than that, this entire, recording will be available on the YouTube page of IEEE Women in Engineering PNEC. You can, yeah, and the link of that particular recorded session will be also shared with you now. So this is the image I'm going to save as a JPEG form so that it can be, displayed in a proper way. Before that, it was somehow in a not in a readable form. So if I just save it as JPEG, and now in desktop, okay, and PM. Okay, so I have saved it with the name of MP, and it's now in save in the form of JPEG. Now I'll just write the code for it. So just opening it. So far no questions, participants. No any kind of questions right now. Yeah, given to you, Ahmed Sabri. We have a YouTube page, and on YouTube page we will share the recording of entire session, so you can see the videos also. And hopefully after this particular, thing, I'll be starting the another workshop soon, which I have planned in the mid of October or November regarding the control design. So if anyone is willing, then he can just show his interest. So uh, it's a bit taking time. So before this, I just move towards the presentation so that I may just discuss the things. Okay, this was the slide. Over here, this was the slide where I just wrote this thing that, okay, menu, I was changing it into a diode form so that any teacher or instructor may just, quickly describe the models of the diode, the practical model, the ideal and the real one. So regarding this thing, I just mentioned over here as the diode model, like over here, the study of diode, and the study of diode. And over here I just wrote the practical, and practical, I wrote here the complete model, complete, and I wrote here the real model, right? So it will give me the three buttons for that. And for case one, what I did, I just removed this line display, and for that I just wrote two commands, which one was the IM show command. Now it's open, so let me just quickly see the thing. Okay, over here I just wrote two commands. One was x1 is equals to im read, and over here what you do, you just mention two things. One is location, then this slash, and after that the name of figure, dot with extension, dot with extension, either it's PNG or JPEG or something like that. And after that, you just show this picture by saying I am show and x1. So I just run that code, and in that case, what happened? If I just copy this code and write it over here, you can see that the study of diode. Let me just correct the commas, inverted commas. These are the inverted commas. Sometimes when you copy the code, it gives you very strange commas, and it cannot read at that moment. No? So okay, so now what I did over here, I'm just willing to copy the location. So for that, I will do what? I'll just go to desktop. This is the MP, which is re-edited into a JPEG form. So I will go into properties. I'll copy the location. I'll copy this location. The file is MP and the extension is JPEG. So what I will do, I'll go over here. I'll just mention the location. The location backslash, the name is mp.jpg, and this thing. Okay, so if I just run this thing, you can see that I have the study of diode, the practical model. So if I'll click the seconds, it will just show me the practical model of a diode. So just waiting for the image so that it can come in front of me. MATLAB is very heavy software, and it requires rendering time so that it can execute the results proper. Somehow I'm doing my PhD, so whenever I run my simulation on this laptop, due to this pandemic situation, I'm restricted to my room, so I have to work on this laptop. So sometimes it take 1 to 2 hours to generate that simulations. So now you have the practical model that is in front of me. So this is how you do the things using dialog box. Similar thing can be done for case 2. Over here, if you just paste this thing, now I'm just changing the image. So if I have any image with me, okay, let me just go to new folder, maybe one picture. Okay, this one picture, we copy this picture, cut, and over here we paste it. We say its name is, let's suppose, DD. Okay, and what we do, we just go into properties, we see the file location, we copy it, and then we just go in MATLAB. Now we just paste the location over here, we paste the location, and over here we just write DD. Okay, and now just change the variable from x1 to x2. If I just run it now, and if I just click on complete, it will show me the picture of MATLAB, the poster of our workshop. So it's if I just okay, what it shows that DD does not exist. Why? Let me see. This is the DD which is on desktop. Or I'll go into properties. Okay, the extension is .jpeg, not jpg. Okay, so I'll just write jpeg, and now if I just run it, if I just say complete, so now you can see I have not placed here the semicolon. It's rendering the all intensities of the image. Once it will read in entire intensity of the image, it will show me the MATLAB poster in front of me. So this is how you can make your work very easy, rather than going to directly to GUI. In front of you, which is given in already in presentation. If you just see on slide number 25, we have a dialog box that will take your name, and it will just show you in front of you by collective now. So if I just paste it over here, you can see it will just, whenever I'll run in this code, it will just prompt that enter your first name. It will ask you with two space bars. One is enter your first name and enter your last name, and then it will just title it. The dialog box title is personal data. I can change it like I can change the title like Playing MATLAB. You can change it, and after that it will just prompt the answer in front of you whatever the thing that is, the title and all the thing, it will just give you the display. And after that, when you just write your name and say okay, then it will manipulate that string and print the your name collectively. Let's suppose the answer 1, which is your first name, and answer 2, which is your last name, it will combine the answer 1 and answer 2. This is known as concatenation. Concatenation means you are connecting 2 arrays together. So this particular thing will be done in this manner. So if I just run it, you can see that it will ask you enter your first name. So if I just write Ghulam Mustafa, and if I write my surname, that is Abro, and if I just okay it will collectively show me that your full name is this one. So if I just say okay, it will show me your full name, or your name is Ghulam Mustafa Abro. So this is how you generate a dialog box for first name or second name. You can create an application that requires the username and password and something like that. So you can do this thing during this particular, this code, which is already been shared with you in this thing. Now, the most important thing that I'm going to discuss is for the people who are working on large or huge number of data. So if you see this particular code is basically how to write a data into Excel and how to read an Excel file. So if you just see the first code, which is from line number 1 to line number 3, what I have done, these are the comments. Okay, and number 2 is I have taken any variable d equals to, and I have write that in the Excel sheet there must be 2 columns. One is time, second is temp. Okay, so in these 2 columns, what type of data will be going into, save in that particular case. I write 12 seconds and 98 is temperature, then 13 seconds and 99 temperature, 14 seconds and 97 temperature. So this is how I created a data, and now I'm going to create this particular thing into Excel sheet. So for that I have a variable s. For creating or writing an Excel sheet, I need a command that is xls write, and after that I'll mention the location where should be my Excel sheet. This is the location that I have given to that particular command. After that, the name of the file, let's suppose I'm saving a name. Let me just pick any name from the participants. So let's suppose Junaid. Can you just, okay, I'll just name the file Junaid. So you can see if I just write Junaid.xls, and after that the D thing will just create, and on which particular column or which particular row it should be starting, it should start now this particular data. So I said okay, from E1, from E1. E1 is the column, right? E is the column and 1 is the row. So E1 is the thing from where my this particular data will execute or will be saved. So if I just run this line number 1 to line number 3, if I just run it, it will show me on command window. It will take some time, and after that it will show me 1 or 0 at output. If it shows me 1, it means the file is created, and if it shows 0, it means file is not created. So over here you can see 1, it means file is created. So what I will do, I'll just go to the location. The location is desktop and the file name is Junaid. So let me just see. This is the desktop, and over here we have Excel sheet. This one is Junaid. If I just click it, you will see the data of temperature and time. You can see the temperature and time is in front of you. Similarly, if you just want to see this file in MATLAB, you want to access this data, what you will do? For that, we have another command that is xls read. So again, you have to do what? You have to mention the exact location. You have to mention the file. So this time I'm just accessing the Junaid.xls. Make sure that it's case sensitive. Whatever the name you are placing it, you must write the same thing. And now you are accessing the temperatures, right? So if I just run this thing, you can see that in a few seconds it will just show me okay, 1298, 1399 and 1497. So this is how you make the things now. This is how you can call the Excel sheet. You can access the Word also, you can access Notepad also, you can access PowerPoint also, you can access anything in your MS Office, any sort of Office file, you can access this using MATLAB. So this is something that is very interesting for the people who are working on data sciences, because they are the people who really work on huge number of data. And for that, if they are going to feed the data manually, then this would be a problematic thing. And though there are the data sets that are available on various sites, GitHub is also one of them. But if you are working on a real-time data, after experimenting the things, and then you are driving the data, and that data you are applying for any machine learning algorithm or something, and you are working in specifically on MATLAB, then this particular command is the core, learning thing for you. Okay, so now we are going for a bit, ahead. So far we have done these things. Now, just before this, I just want to discuss prey-predator model. So far, I just want to ask and confirm if you are getting the things in the right direction. Any questions so far? If not, just type OK in the chat box so that I may see the things that you are getting the things in the right direction. Just type OK in the chat box. Okay, so now I'm just going towards another thing, that is prey predator model. And the subjects that are depending on science, technology, and engineering and mathematics, they are really something that you can model any type of process or any type of scenario into mathematical terms. So if you can just see this prey predator model, and this prey is tiger and predator is deer. So they are the two important, things in the jungle. Tiger always go for a hunt for a deer, and deer always try to escape so that she can live forever. But unfortunately, some of the cases are there where tiger is regarded as a successful candidate for that. So now I'm just modeling the jungle scenario in MATLAB. How I'll model, let's suppose, if you see over here, if I just grab a marker here, screen pointers, where are the pointers? Okay, so this is the pen. Okay, if you can see, this is the prey model, which is the tiger, and this is the predator model, which is deer. So if you can just see, sorry, I just merged the things. So if you can just see the deer, we have the population rate, which is dh over dt. This is the derivative of number of deers, and it is basically equivalent to this thing. So over here, what is h is the number of deers, and rh is the, what we say, constant rate through which the number of deers are increasing. But initially it's not possible that the number of deers will only increase, because in the jungle you have so many other animals that can hunt a deer. So for that, we just connect some factor over here, and that factor is this one, where the k is basically the maximum population, that from there it cannot exceed, the number of deers cannot exceed with this number, that this is the k. And after that, if let's suppose this is the number that is infinity, it means that h upon infinity is 0, which means now the entire rate of population will depend on this thing. And if you see the predator model, this is the rate of change of predators. And over here, if you just see that L is the number of tigers in the jungle, and RL is something that is a constant that will, what we say, increase or decrease the number of tigers. And why I mentioned negative sign over here, because I'm just worried about the tigers. You can model the scenario in any manner, but over here I'm in favor of tiger, And I said, okay, I'm worried that maybe they die without any prey now. So I'll just mention the negative sign over here. So what I'll do, I'll say that, okay, in the presence of deers, what would be the situation over here? Because this particular thing will just decay the population of tigers. So in order to just maintain the population, what it required also required an additional factor, which is this one. I just mentioned plus ALH. ALH is a factor. A is the rate. This is the constant which will constant rate where L and H happens. What do you mean by L and H? Is the counter, is the face off. When deer and tiger come in front of each other, what will happen? So this is the particular meeting point ALH. And over here you can see that L and HT, they both are non-linear terms. So in the world of MATLAB, what we do, we have two options. Either you take non-linear system or you linearize it. So over here, as far as this basic course is concerned, what I did, I just linearized this entire model. How I linearize? Let's suppose if we just see the coupled equations, so we have these coupled equations together. This is the rate of change of what we say the deers, and it's just a rate of change of tigers. So if I just convert it into a state space form, so in a state space form, I'll get this particular matrix A. So these things are non-linear. Why? Because in this particular term and this particular term cannot be same for deers and tigers at the same moment, because if you put the same thing for tigers and the deers, it will just react accordingly. Maybe if you have put the same statement for deers that they all the time they skip, it means now the tigers will go down, the population of tigers will go down. And if you place the same value for the tigers, then the number of deers will go down. But in real scenario, it does not seem so. In real scenario, it can happen that maybe the tiger can be successful or the deer can be successful. So for that, what we do, we just linearize it on equilibrium points. So this is the stuff that is very important to read, but you can read it on your own way. But after just linearizing it on equilibrium points, let me just show you the equilibrium things. So these are the equilibrium points. The first thing, when the jungle has no deer and no tiger. And the second point is the average value of tigers and the deer, right? So if I just linearize it, the method is known as Jacobian. You can just go for any mathematician or any mathematical tutorial. Over there, they will tell you how we linearize the system using Jacobian and using Taylor's expansion method. Might be you have read in your numerical analysis or numerical method subject that why we read Taylor expansion and Jacobian. But I'm not going into the detail of that. But yes, after conversion, you will get the linearized or Jacobian oriented model, that is this one, bit simplified, and it will just implement it accordingly. So over here you can see the relation for the deer and the relation for the tiger is somehow different. So this is how you just linearize the model to simplify the thing. So after simplifying the thing, this is the code that when I was in undergrad, I used to say my people that, okay, I need the code only. But in undergrad, we always go for the code, not for the understanding. But anyhow, this was the entire understanding. And now if I just run this code directly, it might be possible that you would not be able to understand this thing. So let me just grab this code for you on MATLAB. And this is the code, half code and half code on this screen. This is the plotting thing. And then I plot like this way. If I just make you understand, although I have mentioned the comments also, but over here you can see that this thing is the clear all and close all and CLC. This is the runtime. It means that for 100 seconds it will just run. And after that, I have mentioned some equation parameters like the constant values for RH, AL, and RL, and A2, something like that. The equilibrium values for So it's just really embarrassing thing that my laptop, suddenly turns off. I don't know what's the problem. But anyhow, how many people of you have tried this code which is available on the presentation? I have just briefed you about the this presentation that was based on predator prey. I explained the entire model in front of you. So how many people have just run the code and see the graph? Can anyone just share his screen or her screen and just explain that what's going on in that particular graph? Anyone? Anyone who can just share his screen or her screen and just explain the code, not only the code, but the understanding. Anyone? Okay, just let me show you the code. The code is quite easy if you just have over here. If you just see, I have mentioned the equilibrium states. At initial level I said that okay, the number of tigers and the number of deers are same, and after that I used one equation, that is OD45, ordinary differential equation. It's a command that solves the entire equation of the prey-predator model that I mentioned in the slides. And after that I just used the plot, and I plot the equilibrium state for both. I mentioned the axis, and after that I just run the loop so that gradually the graph increases, and I can see the how basically it changes the entire scenario. So this is how we just make this thing. So if the MATLAB is about to open, I'll just show you this particular thing. Apart from that, I have one model. In this particular day, I just told you that I'll discuss two models. One is the pre-predator model, and after that I'll discuss the COVID-19 model without lockdown and with lockdown. What are the how we model the COVID-19? As you know, COVID-19 is something that has changed the life and the entire lifestyle of the thing, and this is the reason that we are connected by a webinar, a virtual webinar. Otherwise we would be conducting some of the webinars in physical. But anyhow, it has plus and minus things. We have perks also, that we can connect from anyone, any part of the world. So if you can just see the slide is already shared, but now I'm just copy the code for you and run it so that you may understand the things rightly. Um, so we're taking time. Okay, so this is the code that I just plot half of the code now, and half of the code is here. Control C. So half of the code. If I just run this entire code, now you can see that after some time you will have the graph of entire jungle now, where you have modeled the population of tigers and deers. This is very popular program and very popular problem that used to be focused by National Geographic. So we have some of the grants also on National Geographic. If you just go for the Nat Geo grants, and if you just explore the Nat Geo programs, the grants program, if my screen is shared, you can see there are several grant opportunities in front of you which you can opt for. So if you are doing a research and you are doing a quality research, then you can just go for these grant opportunities. These are based on machine learning, modeling, and anything that you want to, even though they have some technical grants also. They have the ideas which can impact the social environment. They focus on the animal educational services, and you can do whatever you want now. So these are the funding opportunities. If I just click on this thing, funding opportunities and the grant program. So these are the grant programs, three types of grant programs. I hope the screen is visible. Uruj, the screen is visible? So these are the grants. Let me just share you this link to you in the chat box so that if anyone who is opting for final year project or maybe going for a research oriented topic in masters or in PhD, then they can opt a grant from here National Geographic website. So apart from that, if I just wait for this thing, it's busy still. But anyhow, if you have any so far question, then you can ask. After discussing this code, I'll just shift to myself to the last topic of the workshop, that is COVID-19. So how, in the meanwhile, if the code is okay, the code is executed, you can see this is the overall look of the code. If you just see below graph, it's you see whenever the black line is for tiger, the deers, and the blue line is for deers. Tigers, sorry, blue for tigers, black for deer. So if you see the particular instant where black and blue are striking or overlap, over there you can see the number of tigers are increasing, right? Because it shows the success of tigers whenever they acquired their prey now. So this is how you model the things, and this is the way how basically the journey of a jungle increases with respect to tigers and the deers. So regarding this, you can have a detailed study of this model on website or any internet resource item. You can go, and even MATLAB also provide the built-in files, but they are so built-in and so ready-made that you cannot understand the equations and the model. So this is one of the code that I use to demonstrate the students that how you model a physical scenario of a jungle into a MATLAB, and that's a bit interesting for the students also. So this is how we do the things, and now I'm just coming over the COVID-19. If you just see this code, okay, these files are not available. The COVID-19 files are not available in the presentation because these are the files that I made for my paper. So I'll just discuss it for your understanding. If you see that this is the running policy, we have COVID-19 depends on 4 variables: that how many people are suspected. It means that how many people are susceptible to COVID-19. You people check temperature. So if the temperature increases, there might be probability that he or she has COVID-19. So these are the people who are called susceptible. Second one are exposed. Exposed people are those who are aimlessly going out, and the people not aimlessly, but they are exposed to the environment, right? They are going outside. And the third thing is infected people, the people who are in hospital and they are quarantined. And now last but not the least are the recovered people. So this is known as SIRE model or SIER model. So these particular 4 people or 4 variables determine the COVID-19 reproductive number or the reproductive coefficient, which means that it will just what we say decide that what would be the situation within 1 month in Karachi, in Malaysia, or in Sri Sikandar, or in US, or any state of the world, right? So what I did in this particular thing is I just predefined the parameters. I said, okay, pre-infection rate, it means the contagious rate is 5.2. What is the frequency? So I just turned it into 1 upon pre-infection. These all the data, you will get it through website or any literature review. You will get these equations. The real thing is how we implement it. So over here we have beta, which is basically the infected rate, and after that we just model entire thing. So this is the particular thing for Russia. I opted some of the things from one of the papers and then remanipulate it so that I may get the desired thing. So if I just run this particular code, you can see this is without what we say with lockdown, this particular thing. With lockdown or without lockdown, what would the change? Anyone who can just comment on this. With lockdown and without lockdown, only the thing that really matters is the rate, is the number of exposed people. So if you have number of exposed people a lot, then it means there would be a higher probability of getting COVID-19. If you have lockdown, it means the number of exposed people will be reduced, and if the number of exposed people will be reduced, then there would be less probability of COVID-19, right? Make it in a very simple way. Though there are many other things in terms of control, you can opt my lecture on COVID-19 and its simulations on my YouTube channel, where I just modeled COVID-19 in terms of control system, where we have a delay, also a time delay, because it's obviously having a time delay. If you are you have a 14-day period where you just quarantine yourself, and after that you come ashore that okay, I have COVID-19 now. So it's a time delay in terms of control systems or control theory. So you can find my lecture on this thing, the COVID-19 in one of the private universities of Pakistan also, and on IEEE platform I conducted one of the workshops. So I discussed that in that manner. So apart from that, if you just run this code and see the things, okay, there are some thing that is not let me just run this code. Okay, let me just change the directory, where the directory is. Let me see, personal webinar COVID. Okay, select the folder. Now it will just execute. So if I just run it, okay, it's executing now. So this is how we do the things in MATLAB now, and it's quite easy if you are just committed to this thing. So this is the model of COVID-19. If you can see the spread of this thing in Malaysia, I have just changed the title. I have not gone through, and the stats and the numbers are old one, because it was the paper that I wrote was in March something, and it's still under review. So these are the simulations where we have suspectable graph, we have exposed, we have infected, we have recovered, and we have deaths too. So death is also one of the parameter. When any death happens, people go in their funeral, and again, this contagious thing, people are affected from that particular event or particular funeral thing. So this is the thing. And similarly, we have another code, which is this one, which is without any lockdown. So if I just run this code, you can see the immediately another graph, which is something again depending on these five elements. And if you can see over here, you see the suspectable people are without lockdown. Without lockdown, the suspectable people are decreasing. Suspectable people are decreasing, and the recovered people are increasing, because I took the medical facility as a top-notch medical facility. So this is how you can do the things and model the things accordingly now. So with this, I think that this code I'll provide you later on, when I'll be just discussing. So we have your emails also, and after some weeks, and I'll be getting somehow. I got the minor acceptance for that paper. So if I'll get my paper published, then I'll just put this code into GitHub or something, or will share via email. So now, lastly, I'll just remain the topic, that is GUI. So for GUI, what you do, you write on command window guide. So when you write guide, it will show you a pop-up window, which basically asks you that what type of graphical user interface you want. So we have four types of graphical user interface. This is for UI controls. It means that if you want to some type of conversion you require, so you opt for this particular thing. If you want to show some graphs, you opt for this. And if you want to ask some questions or something like that, so you opt for model question dialog. I opt for blank UI because it's something that you design by your own. So I just opt for blank UI, and I say okay. So this is something in front of you. It's just like a paint, and you use paint before. So these are this is the thing. And over here you have some tools over here. What you do, you just right click on the screen, and then just go for the property inspector, Go for property inspector. Over there you will see this particular folder. Over here this is the gray in color, so I prefer white in color, so I just click on the color. I just pick white and I say okay. So now the color is entirely different. Similarly, you just make what we say text. So you just click on this thing. This is the text, the static text. You write text, you double click on it, and over there you can just change the font. I change the font to 18 so that it's visible. And if I just prolong it like this way, if I just double click on it, property inspector will in front of you, and over there you just go to string. In a string you just click and you just change the topic, that is playing MATLAB. Okay, playing MATLAB. Okay, and now this seems to be a, you know, in gray color, so you can change the color also. You can just click on this thing, you just go for white and just say okay, and after that you can just change the font name also. I prefer Cambria as one of my, you know, favorite fonts. I go for this thing. You can change the weight also. You can go for bold, something like that. You can change the font color. I'll go for blue. So this is how you change the things, and then you just enter a button. So button comes from here. Okay, push button. You can change the push button name. You just say in a string, double click on it, inspector will be in front of you, and then you go for a string. You just say print. Okay, okay, you will get this thing. You can increase the size of this print font and each and everything in the same manner as you did for playing MATLAB, right? So over here, if you just double click on it, you will have all the things in front of you. You can change anything. Now what I want just that whenever I just click on this, I'll have a poster of MATLAB in front of me. Whenever I click it, I'll have a poster in front of me. So for that, what I will do, I'll just right click it. I'll just go and view callbacks. I'll say callback. I'll use callback. So when I click on callback, the entire, it will ask me save. So I'll save it like df and save it. So after that, you will get this file of df, right? So this is the push button line, and over here this is the function push button 1. So what you do, you just write over here the thing what you want to do. Let's suppose I just want to do x1 equals to, we have a file of that thing where we were discussing what we say, we were printing out the thing. So I am read this thing, and now I'm just copying the location of the image, the DD image. I'll just go into properties. I'll go and copy this thing, and I'll go to this, right click, view, callback. Over here, I'll just go, and here what I will do, I'll just paste the location, right? In this way, do remember to put inverted commas, backslash, the image is dd.jpeg, like this way. And I'll say I'm show x1, right? So this is the thing that you have to just amend in your code. Now what you will say, you will just save it, and then you just go to GUI, you just play the thing. When you play the thing, you will have a GUI. This is the GUI, right? So what type of code you written? You said that whenever I click on print, it will show me the poster. So let's hit it for the print, and you will get the poster in front of you. So this is how you design the GUI. Whatever you can do is clearly, you know, visible to you. The only thing is that the poster is overlapped on this thing. So in order to avoid this thing, what you do, you go into the MATLAB, you just opt for an axis. This is the axis. When you mention the axis here, this is axis 1, right? So what you want to do is that you want to print the data on axis 1. So there's a command that I remember, I'm forgetting that, remember the command that is axis dot handles in MATLAB. This is something, this is a command. Let me see if okay, this is the command. This is the command. Access handles access1. Okay, so what you do, you go into this button, you just go to view callback, and just before x1 you just paste this thing, handles.access1. If the access is 2, you write 2. If access is 3, you write 3. So on. So when I just save it and then I just go to GUI and play it, and if I just hit for print, I'll get the poster on this axis rather than overlapped with my text. So this is how you design your GUI. You can design anything. You can print some of the graphs. You can put 3 buttons for diode model. You can print anything. Apart from that, MATLAB has a capability to interlink with other hardware add-ons. If you can just go over there and just see add-ons, we have various hardware support package. It can link with your this Raspberry Pi controller. It can link with the NI instrument Mario controller. It can link with your PLCs. It can link with Arduino boards. So lots of favorable perks are there. So you can design a GUI on the basis of this thing. Now if I just close this thing, so how I'll call it? So for that, you just write guide, and what was the name of that thing? That was df, right? So df dot fig. When you just call this thing, it will just call your GUI in front of you. Guide, your name of GUI.fig. So this is how you do it, right? And this is all from today's day. I hope that you would have no any kind of ambiguity. If you have any sort of ambiguity, the floor is now open. You can ask anything, anything you want to ask, or any collaboration or any sort of thing. So now I think that I have cut it down earlier because I just want to have a, what we say, interacting session, a networking session between you people and me, so that we can explore some of the other things. Can you save the user interface? Okay, let me just see what is. Okay, Wakasan was said, can you save the user interface as an exe file? Yes, we can save. How we can save? Let's have a look. Let me just see uh, the. Okay, let me just share you the screen so that you can see. Okay, so now your GUI name is df, and your GUI, the number 1 line is where argument out is equals to this. So the name of the function is this one, right? Df. So what you are going to write, you just say, okay, you just say mcc space dash m, and then you write df dot m, and then you just do enter. So it will take some time, and after some time it will convert you an exe file, and that exe file can do the same thing. What it will do, it will just show you a start button, and with the start button, when you just click on it, it will show you the MATLAB poster. So this is how you just create a GUI, and simply by simple 1 line you just turn it into a exe file. So I hope the question is clear to you, huh? When it will just turn into the thing, in the meanwhile I'll show you. In the meanwhile, I can have any other questions also, no? So if there is any other question from the audience, he or she may ask the question regarding this thing, or you can also provide the feedback about this thing rather than turning off the laptop, because this is something that I really apologize for that, because I faced this problem at runtime. Not if I would be aware of this problem, then I would have arranged another laptop also, but it happened on the current and runtime, so I cannot help it now. Rather than just just apologizing. So if you have any questions, you can ask. In the meanwhile, why don't we turn on your camera so that we can look, at least we can just greet each other now. Can we turn on our cameras? Rizal, Ahmed Sabri. Hello, sir. So it's still taking some time. So I hope that the entire MATLAB workshop is quite, it's a 2-day workshop. But before that, I used to do in Pakistan Navy Engineering College, NUST. I have done there, physically before this COVID when I was in Pakistan. And now I personally think, thank you so much, Waqas Anwar, for the feedback. Before that, I was conducting this in a, physical manner. So over there, any student is feeling some her or him in personal. But now, as far as this virtual platform is concerned, many things are not in hand. But still, I said to Uruj that record this session so that the people who have attended it, at least they may have this thing with them. So my area of research is in drones, and I go for the stability of the drones with the unmodeled dynamic factors. Unmodeled dynamic factors means those factors which you cannot compensate in mathematical state space model. Like if drone is flying in the air, there are several factors: wind disturbance, the rotor coefficients, and payload variations. So these are the unmodeled dynamic factors that you cannot compensate all in one mathematical model. Rather than that, you go for hybrid observer designs. They can be non-linear, they can be linear. So they what the change in those unmodeled dynamic factors to make the system stable. So my research topic is somehow depending on that thing. So if any other workshop for that in which we can just play with drones. So I'm really delighted now, and I thank the team members of Women in Engineering. This is really a matter of proud for me because I'm also a brother of two sisters, and I really enjoy this thing when girls lead, in front, and they not pretend, actually they are. They portray themselves as a professional one. So it's a very happy and delighted moment for me that women in engineering of Pakistan Navy Engineering College are doing a great things. And I hope that I'll look something bigger also on IEEE Day. Also, I have seen their event of IEEE Day also, where they have invited multiple speakers around the globe. So this is all from my side. If you have any queries or anything else, you can ask. Otherwise, I just share my email address, that is mustafa.abdo@ieee.org. You can email your query. Yesterday, I got one email from Miss Shaista. I hope that she's here. Maybe so. She just connected with me on one of the topics of COVID. So I shared some of the details to her. So let's see if we can do the thing. She was from Norway, and it gives me really honor that people around the globe, they have joined this workshop. So this is all from my side. I hope that now I just give control to host, and she may just turn on the camera and have a group photo for this day 2. Thank you.
Yes, sir, we have learned a lot about MATLAB in these two sessions. We are grateful to sir for sharing his knowledge with us and giving us his precious time. As for the listeners, I hope you all will progress in MATLAB by building on over what you learned here. On behalf of WIE and PSC, I thank you all for your presence and hope you'll follow us for the future events.
Can we turn on the camera of participants? All participants, if you just may turn on the camera so that I may have a memorable moment with you all people. Okay, thank you so much. Take care. Stay safe. Take care, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Allah
Assalamu
Hafiz.
alaikum.
Allah Hafiz.